Okay, let's call this meeting to order. Will clerk give a roll call, please?
Wonderful. Commissioner Aquino?
Here.
Commissioner Frost?
Here.
Commissioner Jones?
Here.
Commissioner Liebig?
Here.
And Commissioner Peters?
Here.
Great.
Wonderful. Thank you. We have a quorum. And we have a couple of announcements. The first is the Metro Cable announcement. The meeting of the Local Agency Formation Commission is Cablecast Live on Metro Cable 14, the Local Government Affairs channel on Comcast Consolidated Communication, and AT&T UVerse. This meeting is also webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. Today's meeting will be repeated Friday, November 6th at 2 p.m. and Saturday, November 7th at 2 p.m. on Channel 14. This meeting will also be closed captioned. And my second announcement, in compliance with directives of the county, state, and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, this meeting is live streamed and closed to the public. Temporary procedures are subject to change pursuant to guidelines related to social distancing and minimizing person-to-person contact. To make verbal comment at today's meeting, dial area code 916-875-2500. Again, 916-875-2500. And follow the prompts to be placed in queue. For a specific agenda item or off-agenda matter, when the chair opens public comment for a specific agenda item or off-agenda item matter, callers will be transferred from the queue into the meeting to make verbal comment. Written comments are always accepted. Send your email comment to boardclerk@saccounty.net. Again, that's boardclerk@saccounty.net. Your comment will be routed to the board and filed in the record. Thank you. And so our first agenda items is our consent calendar, items 1 through 3, and we have a correction to the minutes. It was stated that Nancy Miller was present, and actually it was Madeline Miller. So if we could have someone make a motion.
This is Sarah. I'll move adoption of the minutes with that correct, or the consent calendar with that correction.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sarah.
That was Sarah, and who seconded?
This is Gay, and I think I got in on the second.
Okay.
Whoever.
All right.
Okay.
All those in favor of approval of the consent, please say aye.
Aye.
I think we need a roll call vote.
Do we need a roll call?
I think
All
so
right.
too.
Okay.
Yes.
Will the clerk
So,
call the roll, please?
Commissioner Aquino?
Aye.
Frost?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Liebig?
Aye.
Peters?
Aye.
Little?
Aye.
Thank you. That was all in favor. Motion passed.
Before we move on,
The next item. Oh, go ahead.
before we move on, we neglected to say the Pledge of Allegiance to begin the meeting. So, my fault. I apologize for that. So, if we would do that, just put your hand over your heart and where you are, and say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic
for which it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Director
our
Little,
next item is item.
this is hello. If you could ask This
Yes.
is Director Peters. Could you ask people to put their phones on mute when they're not speaking so we don't, I'm getting feedback. I don't know about it, but anyone else.
I'm not getting any. All right, so our next business items are, excuse me, item number 4, Cal LAFCO Board of Directors election.
Yes, members of the commission, Don Lockhart. Just wanted to give the commissioner a heads up, a couple of developments on the state front with the statewide association of LAFCOs that your commission belongs to. Firstly, your fellow commissioner, Gay Jones, was reelected to the board of directors for a 2-year term through 2022. Gay has been serving with the LAFCO board for some time in many facets, including most recent chair to the commission, to the board. So wanted to make you all aware of that, and wish best wishes to the Commissioner Jones. Also, in light of the public health concerns, the annual event for Cal LAFCO's conference was canceled in person, but there will be a regional roundtable that the commission is welcome to attend. It'll be via, I believe it's going to be via Zoom, but that's December 2nd from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. It's a Wednesday. If you have any ideas or anything you'd like me to forward for consideration for the agenda, I'm happy to. Otherwise, that concludes my comments on this project. Happy to answer any questions.
Hearing no questions, I guess we'll move on to item number 5, and that would also be Don as well, on the annual audit.
This is an information-only item for the benefit of the commission to receive and file. After quite some time, about a 10-year effort, we're now current with our financial audits, and each one has come back sound. But this is good because I'm happy to be able to have just the most recently completed fiscal year as being the one subject to the audit. So, compliments to your commission for staying the course and working through with the auditors. We have changed auditors of principals, not the audit company itself, but principals over the course of time and consistent with changes in state law, state and federal accounting practices. There's nothing to report out of the financial audit. All affairs are found to be in order. I can answer any questions of the commission.
I have a question, Dawn. This is Sarah Aquino. There was a recommendation in there about, date stamping checks that come in, and it looked like that same recommendation was made last year and it wasn't implemented, and I'm just wondering why.
I think it's a matter of staffing. I've worked with, right now, it's the two of us, Diane and myself. Diane takes care of the payments necessary, the processing of accounts receivable, accounts payable. We have been working on a system that's a little bit more foolproof to log in, date stamp, and log in checks. We don't deal with cash, as the commission's probably aware. But any checks that come in, we try to duly note that the date they came in, log them in, and then get them. Because of the volume, we don't do a daily dispersal as recommended or referenced in the financial audit, but we do it about 1 to 2 times a month, I should say. We process it through the Sacramento County Auditor's Office, but all accounts, both payable and receivable. And we've not had any problems with that side of things. So I think continued diligence is really the watchword for staff as response to direction from the audit and your commission.
Okay.
Any further questions? All right. Well, moving on to item number 6, public hearing items, Sacramento Suburban Water District. Draft Municipal Services Review and Sphere of Influence update. Don?
Your commission may recall towards the end of last calendar year directed myself to circle back on municipal service reviews that have been acted upon by your commission and check with the respective districts to see what, if anything, has changed, and if there's been enough changes to warrant a refresh or an update to the previous MSR. There's no change in the sphere as the district is landlocked, but this previously your commission considered the municipal service review in the sphere of influence in 2011. There's been some changes in new state law dealing with groundwater management, and in general, we've gone through a drought since then as well. There's been some personnel changes at the district, and to their credit, Sac Suburban was very eager to work with the commission to update and tell their story in a more current setting. So we have the draft before you this evening. There are some questions about baseline groundwater information that's been presented. We do have Dan York, who's the general manager for Sac Suburban Water District. I believe he's available by telephone. If there's any questions you would like Dan to respond to. The table showing obligations for groundwater draw, as well as surface water and commingling thereof. That table will be updated for the final MSR that I will want to bring back to the commission in December. Also, there's a question about personnel and administrative costs. That table is being worked on by the district, and that'll be updated for the final. And we'll call out that and any other issues that your commission raises or the public raises. We'll call that out in a covered memo for the benefit of the commission. But with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions or remind the general manager, Dan York, is also.
Mr. Chair, this is Gay, and I do have a few questions. May I start with one of them?
Please.
Okay, thank you very much. Looking through the report, there's a heck of a lot of information there. I have a question. One of my questions is, there are contracts to purchase surface water. Hello? Okay. So I'm wondering with whom and for how much are those contracts to purchase the treated surface water?
Let me confirm. Dan, are you available? Technology.
Here you go. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, Dan. Dan York,
Right.
did you hear the question, Dan?
Yes, I did. Thank you. Might get muted here a second. Yeah. Good evening, Chairperson Little and members of the commission. Yes. So Sac Suburban has 2 separate service water contract rights. The first one is with PCWA for 29,000 acre feet, and there's some caveats with that. There has to be an inflow of 1.6 million acre feet into Folsom Lake before we can take the water, and it's mostly available in wet years. In past history, we've been able to receive that about 6 out of 10 years. The second service water contract is with City of Sacramento off the American River, and the contract there is 26,063 acre feet. And we also this year became in a new agreement, not into a final agreement yet. It was actually a pilot with San Juan Water District. We were able to purchase 4,000 acre feet from them. And so if you read the report, that's part of our conjunctive use program. So when we purchase that water, we turn our groundwater wells off. And so over the past, 15, 20 years, we've been able to bank 230,000 acre feet of groundwater. So it's a good benefit program. And I got to give my board members credit because the surface water is more expensive than groundwater, but it's actually helped the basin recover.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you, Mr. York. Now, you said the 230,000 over what time period was that? How many years?
We started it around 1989, 1990.
Okay.
In fact, I could probably, we don't have it in here, but I could actually send Don a graph. It's a graph I use for all my presentations, and it shows the American River Basin declining about 2 feet per year from the 1940s until about 1990, early 90s. And pretty much based on Sac Suburban in the county of Sacramento, we're able to get that basin to recover. So it's an excellent graph that shows how it recovered. Even during the drought, we barely lost a little bit of coverage on the drought, and it shows up to 2018, where it's basically each year during, of course, spring and fall, it'll go up and down a little bit, but basically it's doing excellent right now.
Okay. Well, that's great news. That is great news, Mr. York. So this discussion about the North American subbasin, what is the sustainable extraction?
Well, it's kind of, it's really
over time, but
Yeah, it's actually confusing because DWR puts out a bulletin 118, and they're saying the North American subbasin has about 4.9 million acre feet, but they do that calculation up to 200 feet of the aquifer. So what we do is we follow the Sacramento Groundwater Authority, and what they do is they pretty much, for the water form, is they can allocate what you can actually pump. And so that number is estimated at 131,000 acre feet per year, but we've been basically doing it at about 100,000 acre feet per year. So prior to SGA being formulated like 20 years ago, as I mentioned, the basin was just getting deleted about 2 feet a year. It was around 200,000 to 300,000 acre feet a year that was pumping the groundwater.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's really interesting, and I would greatly appreciate it if you could send some of those graphs and that info to Don, and he can let other members of the commission have that information as well. So 131,000 acre feet is the recommended or the proven extraction max?
Correct.
On an annual basis? Okay, thank you. That's very informative. I do have one other question. It's not about water per se, but I don't want to, if others have questions, they can continue.
Please, go ahead.
All right. Thank you. This concerns on the pagination on the report was a little different, but on page 25 of the written MSR, it said there's a chart, and it says that the administrative costs were 37% of their operating costs. That seems quite high, and so my question is, what is contributing to that 37% administrative cost?
So yeah, apology that it's kind of misleading on here because we actually do our budget for our operation and maintenance. We have 3 different categories. We have administrative, we have engineering, and we have operations. And in this administrative cost here for the 36%, that actually covers supplies, insurance, licenses, fees, training, etc. Myself, I think that probably should read actually the total. If you're looking for salaries and benefits, that's kind of what people have in their administrative costs. If you calculated that for a total O&M, that's actually 43% of the total O&M budget, strictly salaries and benefits, which includes retirement and health.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is that chart includes, okay. It just seemed a bit high, and I didn't know if you had included employee expenses, employee costs, and benefits in that. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any further questions for Mr. York? All right. Well, thank you, Mr. York. Appreciate your being available for questions.
No, thank you, and I appreciate working with Don in completing this refresh.
All right. Says on my list here, questions and announcements, Executive Officer, Commission Council.
Yes, I do. I do have, this is Don Lockhart again. I do have a couple of items to make the commission aware of. Firstly, on the Sacramento Urban Water District MSR, we're going to see about bringing that back for your commission for the final meeting of the year in December. So just as a heads up for there's a couple of things happening in the county that I wanted to. We've discussed in the past with members of the commission the status of the Del Paso Manor Water District. They've been going through a little bit of shakeout with some governance and staffing issues. We began their municipal service review, and then that, because of the turnover of general managers, took a bit of a timeout. On July 8th, the district did hire a gentleman, Adam Conran, to be the full-time general manager. He's in the process of staffing up the vacancies. Talking with him, he indicates he's got some good, everyone's licensed and he's getting some forward. They have also that the board has retained local interest Hydro Science Associates to update their 2009 master plan. Looking forward to having that brought forward as well to their board. So what we're hoping to be able to do, myself, LAFCO, and the Del Paso Manor staff, is begin in earnest the municipal service review again, perhaps late spring, midsummer. And once he's fully staffed and has an understanding of operations, a better understanding of operations of the district, I think we should be able to move through the public process in a fairly efficient manner. So I just wanted to make the commission aware that the wheels are turning at Del Paso Manor Water District.
Good.
They are taking some steps. I can answer any other questions. One other, excuse me.
Go ahead.
Are there any? Okay, no questions. Okay, one other point I wanted to bring. This is kind of a future reference point for the benefit of the commission. I've been working with regional sand staff for quite some time. They're doing a fairly substantial project. We're proposing this fairly substantial project in South County. A portion of the Elk Grove, recently improved Elk Grove sphere of influence. Otherwise, it's all in unincorporated county. They're calling the project a harvest water project. It's essentially taking some recycled water and introducing it through contracts to various agricultural farmers, ranchers and farmers in areas south of Elk Grove, north of Twin Cities Road. So it's the idea is to move the water down there for a beneficial use. The idea is it's going to need to come before your commission. We have contributed to the CEQA review as a responsible agency. The proposal that would come to your commission would be a sphere of influence amendment. The boundary currently for the district is the USB Urban Services Boundary General Plans. It runs along Camera Road, so they'd have to extend their service boundary. They would do it service specific to the recycled water, and also they would also like to annex that area concurrently with the sphere in order to be able to finalize contracts with interested parties. So we're expecting to see that application from the regional sand staff. I believe they're looking to bring it in February. So I'll try as we get copies of the larger documents, I will bring those forward to the commission so that you don't get everything in one fell swoop. I do want to let you know that Regional SAN staff, Terry Mitchell, their legislative regulatory affairs manager, is available on the phone, as is Dave Richardson, your consultant with Woodard and Curran. So if you have any more specific questions or you want to ask specifics, those are the two folks that would be the real experts for you. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Otherwise, I turn it over to Terry and Dave. Terry and Dave, are you there?
Yes, Don. Dave's here.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here as well.
Okay. Anything you want to add? Please feel
No,
free.
thank you. Thank you, Don, very much for introducing this item. I really appreciate the work we've done with you and with your team to work through the CEQA process, and we're looking forward to preparing the documents for your commission early next year.
I have no further comments.
We have miscellaneous correspondence from the city of Galt. It was in your packet.
Again, this is kind of a heads up to keep the commission informed of things going on throughout the county. The city of Galt recently took some actions at their city council to initiate or move forward with 3 different annexations within the city's sphere of influence. There's some correspondence where I've been receiving phone calls and emails from folks who live in the area. There's one area, it's about 32 maybe acre unincorporated islands, city of Galt on 4 sides. Those folks are concerned about a lifestyle alteration having to be affiliated with the city of Galt. Because of changes in statute mid-2000s, this is unusual. Your commission's not dealt with one before, nor frankly. There is no protest proceeding. If it conforms to the statute, which this does by area and acreage and location, it would come after the CEQA clearance issued as a lead agency by the city. The proposal would come to your commission for consideration of the boundary. Your realm of options as far as your discretion are very limited. You cannot modify the boundary, cannot deny the proposal. So this is just give you a heads up. You may hear from some of these folks living down there. We're working, I'm working with some folks at the city to see if we can find some common ground that you may see addressed in some of this correspondence. It's at the discretion of the city, really how they want to handle it. Also, they are negotiating a property tax exchange agreement on all 3 proposals with you. So that's just by way of background. I wanted to, some of the folks I would call them, wanted to make sure that your commission was aware, included in your agenda pack. Have to answer any other questions.
Do we have any public comments or questions?
Chair Little, could I ask?
Diane.
Sure. Go ahead, Member Aquino.
If I heard Mr. Lockhart correctly, he said there's going to be a December meeting, and I was just wondering if there has been any discussion about holding these meetings back in person again. I don't know what other jurisdictions are doing. I can tell you that in Folsom, we've been holding meetings in person for months now. We just mask up. I know the County Board of Supervisors meets in person, and I just think it's just better for public policy making. So just wondering if there's any discussion. Of course, I rotate off this board next meeting, so I will defer to the rest of you, but I just wanted to put that out there that I hope we'll consider doing that sooner rather than later.
I appreciate that input. Let me touch base with the clerk of the Board of Supervisors. They're pretty much our landlord for use of the chambers and see what kind of feedback I get from them. And myself or Diane will send a note out to the commission to let you know we're able to make that move.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, I guess we have come to the end of our meeting. So thank you all, and thank you for participating, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, staff. Appreciate it.